Learning a new skill is often perceived as a daunting and time-consuming process. Many believe that becoming competent at something requires thousands of hours of dedicated practice. This belief largely stems from the popularized 10,000-hour rule, which suggests that mastery in any field requires around 10,000 hours of deliberate practice. However, this notion is a misinterpretation of the original research and does not apply to general skill acquisition. In reality, achieving a functional level of skill proficiency can take significantly less time, approximately 20 hours of focused, deliberate practice. The misconception of the 10,000-hour rule originated from research conducted by Dr. K. Anders Ericsson, who studied expert-level performance in various fields, including professional athletes, musicians, and chess grandmasters. His research concluded that individuals at the top of their fields had invested around 10,000 hours of practice to reach that level of excellence. However, over time, this message was distorted. It went from stating that it takes 10,000 hours to reach world-class expertise in a highly competitive field to the idea that it takes 10,000 hours to become competent in any new skill. This misunderstanding has discouraged many people from even attempting to learn something new, fearing that they simply do not have the time or resources to reach a meaningful level of skill. In contrast, studies on skill acquisition show that most people can go from knowing a thing to being reasonably proficient in a skill with just 20 hours of dedicated practice. The key to rapid skill acquisition is to practice intelligently and efficiently. There are 4 essential steps to making the most of these 20 hours. 1. Deconstruct the skill. Most skills are composed of multiple smaller sub-skills. By breaking down a skill into its fundamental components, it becomes easier to determine which aspects are most critical. Instead of attempting to tackle the entire skill at once, focusing on the most important elements first allows for faster improvement. 2. Learn enough to self-correct. Many people fall into the trap of excessive research before they begin practicing, using books, courses, and videos as a form of procrastination. While it is important to gather some knowledge, the goal should be to learn just enough to identify and correct mistakes while practicing. This allows for continuous improvement without getting stuck in a cycle of passive learning. 3. Remove barriers to practice. A major obstacle to skill development is distraction. Television, social media, and other interruptions can prevent effective practice. Creating an environment conducive to learning, such as setting aside dedicated practice time and minimizing distractions, helps ensure consistency and efficiency in skill acquisition. 4. Commit to at least 20 hours. The initial stage of learning something new is often frustrating. The feeling of incompetence can discourage people from continuing. However, pushing through this initial discomfort is crucial. By committing to at least 20 hours of practice, learners give themselves the opportunity to improve beyond the frustrating early phase and start seeing tangible results. These principles apply to virtually any skill, whether it is learning a new language, cooking, playing a musical instrument, or even juggling. The most significant barrier to acquiring new skills is not a lack of intelligence or ability, but rather emotional resistance. People often feel discouraged when they struggle at the beginning of the learning process. However, by approaching skill development with an understanding that frustration is temporary, they can overcome self-doubt and continue progressing. The 20-hour rule can be applied to any skill one wishes to learn. The key is to set realistic expectations, not to aim for mastery, but for functionality and competence. For instance, someone who wants to learn a new language does not need to become fluent immediately. Instead, focusing on common words and phrases allows them to communicate effectively in a short amount of time. Similarly, someone who wants to learn to cook does not need to master gourmet techniques, but can start with simple, fundamental recipes and gradually improve. By understanding that skill acquisition does not have to be an overwhelming or lifelong process, more people can feel encouraged to pursue their interests. Learning does not require extreme dedication or professional level practice. It simply requires a structured and efficient approach. Anyone willing to invest 20 hours into focused, deliberate practice can acquire new skills and enjoy the satisfaction of growth and improvement. The process is not about becoming the best, but about breaking past the initial difficulty and gaining the ability to do something new. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.